Have you ever looked at an old, oversized piece of furniture and wondered how in the world do we bring this thing back to life? Well, in this last video of the year for 2024, I am tackling my biggest flip that I have worked on. Literally, this thing is massive. This dresser is getting a stunning transformation into an elegant statement piece that quite honestly is going to sell for quite a bit of money. So in this video, I'm going to go over how I pick up these pieces for so cheap and how we turn them into modern masterpieces and sell them for top dollar. So whether you're interested in getting in the flipping market yourself or you have a project at home that you've been too afraid to tackle, let me show you what we're going to do with this. Let's go. So I know you all are gonna ask me what I paid for this one, and if you followed my channel for a long time, you probably know the answer. This came from an estate sale, and I paid, that's right, $13 for it. You all are gonna say, how do you pay $13 for items like this from an estate sale? Well, the number one thing that I look for is the shape of a piece of furniture. And the second thing that I'm always on the hunt for is when they photograph these, they usually have the big china cabinets on the top of them. Well, nobody buys those. And so they look like these big, huge pieces of furniture. Not a lot of people want them. So I know that these will actually come apart into two pieces. And so I take advantage of the fact that usually an estate sale that I pick it up from is willing to take the top of the china hutch and donate it or try to sell it again in another auction that they're having. So they'll let me leave it behind, usually. So this one was the same thing. It was a picture of the whole entire thing, which I think really deterred people from bidding on it because it was huge. But I saw this piece underneath and was like, this is gonna be a beautiful buffet if I can snag it. So the starting price at estate sales are usually around $10. So by the time I add tax onto that, my checkout price is 13 bucks. Not a bad gig. One of the first things I always have to do on my flips is get rid of the dated details. 9 times out of 10, I always remove the hardware because that's usually the thing that's gonna scream when this thing was made. So my guess, by looking at the hardware and looking at the shape of this, it's probably mid to late 80s, early 90s is when this was designed. Now, this hardware is easily replaced with something that's a little more upscale and a little more trendy. And I have listed a link below of all my favorite hardware that I get off of Amazon that I see that's really in style for right now. My selling market is Dallas, Texas, and you better believe that they require the latest trends and updated pieces of furniture. And so that is what I design and try to provide. But usually that's where all my design ideas come from, is I know my area and I know what they're looking for. I'm using some Simple Green to clean this piece. Simple Green is a really great way to not only get rid of like grease and grime, but it helps get rid of furniture polish or pledge. This thing is really, really pledged up, is my guess. I'm getting a lot of it that's coming off. So this is an excellent way to get all of that off if you have a piece that's been really well taken care of, like this one. You can tell they cleaned it a lot. So I've got to get all that off before my next steps will adhere, or else I'm going to have a lot of problems with adhesion with what I'm going to use today. So that's why I used my big furniture brush. This is a big piece of furniture. This helps me get through it quickly. And then a rag with some hot water is also going to be my best friend to get a lot of this furniture polish off of here. I came out last night and I patched all of the little pinholes from removing the hardware that I took off. So now it's time to give everything a really good scuff sand. I've got my Surf Prep sander. It's got this squishy foam abrasive on it. And then I have a 180 grit on top of that. This is so I can get around all of these really detailed areas. And I'm gonna be able to get into this drawer area really easily because of the shape of the sander. So everything's gonna get a really good scuff sand. I know some people are gonna be upset because I'm about to paint this. I know, don't freak out. But truthfully, this is not solid wood, and I'm gonna show you the back of this to prove that this is not solid wood. It has a really hard plasticky type finish, factory finish on the top of this. The rest of this could be solid wood. I know the drawers are. The inserts and things I'm not quite sure are. But this will just show you what you can do with these when they start to look a little dated. Okay, look, I'm telling the truth. It's not solid wood. I'm gonna show you the back. So there's the back. You can see the particle board is here. This is a piece of really thin plasticky coating. This is not veneer. This is some other coating that's on here. So this is not solid wood. I know a lot of you think this is, but it's not. Hey everyone, we're taking a quick break from the garage so I can tell you about today's sponsor, FlexiSpot. This is one of my favorite pieces in my house. It's my recliner XL6 from FlexiSpot. I've owned this beauty for over a year, and let me tell you, it's been an absolute lifesaver after those long days of flipping furniture. This recliner has been my ultimate comfort companion, and let me tell you, I've really put it to good use. After unwinding after a long day of furniture flipping to sneaking in some editing breaks, it's safe to say I have truly tested this chair in every way possible. One of my favorite features on my XL6 is my favorite massage and heat function. It's like having a personal spa treatment at home. It's perfect for those days when my back needs a little extra love after moving around furniture. And with the controls for both the backrest and the footrest, I can easily find my perfect position. This lift feature is also a huge plus, especially for anyone who might need a little help getting up. It's incredibly sturdy, supporting up to 400 pounds, so it's perfect for the whole family or even guests that you have visit. FlexiSpot did not miss a detail either. These side pockets are perfect for holding my remote, my phone, or even a good book. And the built-in USB charger, it keeps my devices powered while I relax. The Easy Care cover has been a lifesaver for me. Between kids, snacks, dogs, and just everyday use, this thing has stayed in great shape and it's really easy to clean. And here's some really great exciting news. FlexiSpot is having some amazing sales right now on this XL6 recliner for Christmas season. If you've been waiting for the right time to treat yourself or someone you love, this is it. You'll get luxury level comfort at an unbeatable price. After a year of daily use, I can confidently say that the FlexiSpot Recliner XL6 is worth every penny. So whether you're looking for comfort, functionality, or support, this recliner delivers it all. And with these great holiday deals, there's never been a better time to grab one for yourself. So be sure to check out my link below and grab your FlexiSpot XL6 today. Thanks, FlexiSpot. Okay, I've got this whole thing scuff sanded and now it is time to prime. I'm going to be using this Bullseye Shellac by Zinsser. This is clear and I'm using this for two distinct reasons. Well, number one, I want to make sure that none of this old coloring or tannins is going to leach or bleach back into my new paint job. The second reason I want to use clear is because, well, styles come and go, don't they? So in a few years, maybe a decade, what I'm doing to this will no longer be in style, that's for sure. So if the new owner of this wants to restore it back to its original finish, because I'm putting on a clear primer, this is gonna be so much easier to strip off what I'm doing to this today. If I had my choice, because I know that I'm gonna paint this a dark color, I would prefer to use this flat gray primer, because it's just gonna help my color appear that much richer and darker when I apply it on. But this one's gonna be a lot harder to get off. And because I know that this buffet has some value to it, I wanna make sure that it has plenty of lifetimes in it. So that's why I'm gonna go with this clear shellac. I'll make sure I have a mask on. This stuff is really strong. You wanna be in a ventilated area. I've got the extra little spray helper on here so that my finger doesn't get tired holding down that nozzle the whole time. But this whole entire thing is gonna get coated in clear shellac. Now, if you were paying close attention, you noticed that I did not scuff sand the bottom of this, and that was for a very specific reason. So if you followed me for a while, you know that one of the top things that helps sell my pieces is when I strip and stain the tops and the bottoms of these. But I've been paying really close attention to things that are going on in restoration hardware, and they're showing a lot of the rustic looks lately, which isn't really surprising. Like, rustic farmhouse has been in for a little while now. I sell a majority of that in Dallas. It does really well for me, but I'm noticing where they're only having raw wood looks on the bottoms of pieces. So on today's flip, that's what we're gonna create. So I'm gonna get the drawers out of this guy, flip it onto its back, and we're gonna strip the finish off of the bottom and see what we can create with that. Hopefully it's gonna look like one of those $2,000 to $3,000 restoration hardware pieces by the time I'm done with this. I got some QCS finish remover to take the finish off of this project. I've been really wanting to try this. I've seen it all over Instagram. It doesn't have any dangerous chemicals like typical furniture stripper, so I'm gonna use that on the bottom of this piece. This finish remover says it doesn't require gloves or a mask. I'm only wearing my gloves because it's so cold here today, but it does say to apply this liberally and then leave it for 30 to 60 minutes, come back out and apply another coat. So I've got probably a good 2 hours in between being able to remove the finish on this, but I'm really excited to try this product. I use a lot of furniture chemical strippers, so finding one that is non-toxic would be really great. So let's see what this does. Okay, I've done 2 coats of that paint remover, varnish remover now, and I'm about to take this to it. I'm really excited to see what this does. So let's see if this lives up to the hype. Oh my gosh, look at that, just come right off. All right, guys, I'm never going back to the old way again. That's amazing. I don't think I'm gonna have to do very much hand sanding with this. Our temps really dropped overnight. So I'm out in the garage and I've got to finish sanding the bottom of this so I can get it ready to paint hopefully tomorrow. I've got my Surf Prep sander. It's got that squishy foam abrasive on it again. So it's gonna go into all these little curves and details. My chemical stripper did a really good job of cleaning so much of this up. I have very little to do left on this, but some of it has got to be taken off, so we're gonna deal with that. If you are interested in checking out one of these sanders, I've got this linked in the comments below. I also have the 5-inch orbital version of this that also has the squishy foam abrasive on it, and there's a coupon code there that you can use to check these out. So I'll have that all linked in the description, but let's get the rest of this finish off. The bottom is perfectly sanded. I am gonna take some pre-stain and put that on the sanded wood that I have. I just wanna make sure that the stain that I end up applying eventually will penetrate perfectly and not blotchy. So I'm gonna use some pre-stain on this before I do that. I'm just gonna put this on the bottom part where I sanded. And I'll give this just a few minutes to soak in, and then we'll wipe it back with a cloth. I'm gonna spray this buffet with the drawers inside. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because these drawers, when they're in place, they fit really snug inside of this buffet. If they didn't, if there was some overhang or something like that, then I would have to wrap them up and tape them up. But I'll be able to paint them with the drawers inside, and then once it dries a little bit, I'll pull them out just a bit and use a foam brush and go around all of the edges. It's just a quick way to sort of save time when you're painting furniture. I chose the color Inkwell from Sherwin-Williams for today's flip because I have been looking on restoration hardware sites and seeing these lot of like inky black dressers that are selling really well, anywhere from like $1,500 to $2,000. And you know those aren't solid wood. So I know that if I can duplicate something like that, those hot items that are selling really well, that my area in Dallas, well, Dallas really loves trendy. So if I can create those really nice high-end looking trendy pieces, it pretty much guarantees me a sale. That's what I've been doing for the last 4 years. That's how I've paid off over $60,000 worth of debt. And that's how I started this channel. So that's one of the main things I look for, is just really hot, trending furniture that sells really well in my area. If I can recreate it, it'll sell. gonna do a light scuff sand between each coat of paint. My first coat, the first coat that you wanna put on is always gonna be just you're not going for total coverage. You just want to get the paint on, if that makes sense. So you can see, you can still see some of the wood through this, and that's okay. On my second coat, I wanna make sure then I've got full coverage on that one. So I'm gonna do a light scuff sand in between each coat. I am guessing this probably is gonna take 3 coats for full coverage because I couldn't use that gray primer underneath there and I had to use that clear coat. And this color is so dense that it's probably gonna take 3 coats to get it looking really, really good. Came out last night and finished up the 3rd coat of paint on this guy. I got it painted, I think by about 8 o'clock. So this is day 3. The longest part by far was basically all day yesterday was spent painting with dry time in between. So I'm gonna take the tape off the bottom of this and I need to poly this bottom part. It doesn't have any poly protection on it. The paint that I used has a built-in top coat, so I'm not gonna have to do that step, but I do need to make sure that I seal the bottom of this. I happened to find just the right amount of hardware left over for this piece. So let's get these attached and we'll get it staged. Well guys, that's a wrap on today's huge Bernhard buffet flip. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one in the comments below. I think this is most definitely the biggest piece I've tackled for 2024, but I think it turned out really beautifully. This guy took me 3 days all in all to finish up, so not too terrible considering the starting price of around $12. And then of course I had to buy the paint, which I think was $23, somewhere in there, and everything else I had on hand. So not bad for this investment. This guy will list around me for around $1,300. I know, it's crazy, right? It's crazy what you can do with some flipped furniture. So hopefully he'll sell probably right after the new year. I'm not sure if I'm going to get around to listing this one before the holiday season hits. So we'll see what happens there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This year was a really big year on this channel. I've always thought that this channel is the little channel that could. We started off really small for a while and we just hit 80,000 subscribers this year. So that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around, keeping me going. I've got so much more to bring you into this new year of 2025, so I hope you stick around. If you are not a subscriber, I I hope you'll hit that subscribe button at the end of this video so you can keep checking out what we've got going on here at Lemons to Lemonade Furniture. And as always, if you follow my community tab, which is absolutely free, all you have to do is just subscribe to the channel, which is also free, you will see when I list this guy and what it sells for, because I always update you over on the community tab. So if you want to keep up with what I'm flipping and what it sells for, it's just a fun, easy way to keep you guys in the loop. So thank you so much for joining me as always, and I will see you next year.